Hello budget friends, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa and we're here to do the monthly debt update for November 2024. Are you interested in seeing how we did in the month of November? If you are, please stay tuned. All right, you guys, we're just going to talk about how we did in November. If you've been here for any one of my recent videos, you do have an idea that we didn't do very well in the month of November as far as spending. And some spending was done on credit cards, so it's going to be reflected here. But nonetheless, I am here for transparency. I'm here to be open and honest with you guys, and I'm here to show you where we are and just to close it out. So first up, we have our first debt, which is the Chase card. Now, this credit card was the card that I did spend on when we went on vacation at the earlier part of November. I did talk about this multiple times in my videos. So we're just going to talk about where we started, which is at $207.62. We had a minimum payment of $40. We did make a lot of purchases on this card. So I did tell you that hubby had to buy some parts for a vehicle he is working on. And that was the card that I used to buy the parts. And also this was a card that we spent on when we went on vacation. So $2,332.89 was spent in purchases. We did make some extra payment of $873.01. We lost interest, $5.31, and we're closing out the month at $1,632.81. Now, the reason why I have everything listed in here, I just want you guys to see that even though there were charges on this card, there were still some payments that were made, because within this $873.01, I did pay back some of the vacation expenses that was charged to the card. I did pay some of them back in the earlier part of the month, but however, we weren't able to pay all of them off. And then everything else that was spent from hubby is still on this card. I'm waiting for him as of this date, which I'm recording this video on the 3rd of December. He still hasn't finished the job and he didn't get payment just yet. So we need to work on paying down $1,632.81. Now, the next debt up is student loan. Now, this one is the second, or was the second smallest debt when I was here at the end of October. It started out at $1,263.94. The minimum payment is only $40, which was what we paid, no extra payment. There was no purchases. The interest was $4.04, and we ended at $1,227.98. Now, as you can see, this is now showing as smaller than the Chase card, but what's going to happen is I'm going to leave them in the order they are. I do want to pay the Chase card off first. And like I did tell you guys in my monthly budget closeout for November, hubby will be reimbursing me a part of this money to go back to this card. So then the balance is going to drop below the student loan. So let's move on to the next one, which is my Apple card. Now, this one did get a little bit of transactions charged on there that wasn't paid back. And I did the same thing as showing you what was charged to the card and what was paid back. So our balance started out at $1,545 even. $25 was the minimum payment. Purchases made in the month of November was $653.03. We did make extra payment of $229.92, and we are ending at $1,947.11. So there was a little bit of charges on this card that I still haven't covered yet as of the end of the month of November. Now moving on to the next debt, which is Mattress Firm. Now, Mattress Firm started out at $2,191. Our minimum payment was $67. That was made. There is no extra payment. We didn't make any purchases. This one is at a 0% interest, so we didn't lose any interest in the month of November, and we ended the balance at $2,124. And I need to make a note about the Apple card. So I didn't have any interest that was lost on that card because at the end of the month of October, I did pay the full statement balance on the card. So all of the purchases that was charged to the card in the month of October was paid back. So I didn't have a balance, well, a statement balance that needed to be paid. However, in the month of December, you will see that I did get charged a little bit of interest because I didn't cover the full statement balance for the month. Now let's go into the next debt, which is Capital One number two. This is another credit card that got a little bit of usage, and I will speak about this one. We started out at $2,569.80. $93.32 was made as a minimum payment. I just put everything into one. There was no real extra payment. We did use this card to charge our heating oil. This is the card that they have on file, and they charge this card every time we order and get heating oil delivered. So $361.72 was the price or the total amount of heating oil that we received. $57.89 was lost to interest. Yes, we did lose this much in interest to this credit card in the month of November. We ended at $2,896.09. So as of the end of November, I wasn't able to pay back the amount that we charge for the heating oil. We will figure that out in the coming months. Next debt up is Lending Club. We started out at $17,846.49. The minimum payment of $1,059.22 was made. No extra payment, no purchases, and interest lost in the month of November was $371.60. And this is because, you guys, because of how the money situation was set up in the month of November, I took a while to pay the payment. And because of that, there was a lot of days in between payments. So, it is a simple interest loan. So the longer you take to make your payments is the more interest they are going to charge you. So, I had to make peace with it. And we're ending at $17,158.87. Now, one thing I'm looking at where my payments will fall in the month of December, and I think I'll be able to reduce the amount of interest based on where my paychecks lie. So hopefully at the end of December, you guys will see what big of a difference it is between the amount of interest we lost in November to the amount of interest we will lose in December. Next is my 401k loan. Now we started out at $20,118.72. Payments that was made. So for some reason, I was under the impression that this loan updates once per month. I don't know what happened in the month of November. When I went in earlier, or I would say mid-November, they did have one payment of 408, which is the minimum payment for the month. $408 was made, and I had a $90 interest that was lost. Not lost, but interest that was charged. Now, I went in on the 29th or the 30th of November just to check again to make sure. This was when I was putting together this spreadsheet to close out the debts. And there was another payment for $408 made. And I was like, wait a minute. So I think they are delayed on how they record the payments based on when they update. So they did have another $408 that was made as a payment, and another, I think it was $88.57 in interest that was taken from the amount of the payment. So now the total interest that was taken from the payments $178.57, and we are ending the month at $19,481.29. So out of all of the loans so far, I'm very happy with how this one worked out because of the extra payment that they did. It's not really extra payment because when I went in and looked at the website, it was just calculated as a full payment for the month. We're not gonna argue. We're just gonna leave it as is. Next up is Upgrade. Upgrade started out at $24,472.31. The minimum payment is $629.14, and that was made. But you guys, oh my gosh, this one hurt real bad. So $483.26 was lost to interest. Oh my gosh, this is almost 80% of the payment, or maybe even more than 80% of the payment. Now, this again, it's a simple daily interest loan. They calculate the interest based on the amount of days in between payments. And this one, so in the month of October, I made the payment very early. So even though the payment is due on the 30th of every month, I think in October I had paid it by the 10th. So when I made my payment in November, it was not until I think the 20th that I made the payment. So from the 10th of October to the 20th of November, all of those days in between, I lost to interest. So we are ending at $24,326.43. Now, that is not a lot of payment or ground that was covered because we lost that much to interest. I won't let it happen again. Trust me. Now, the next one up is my auto loan, and this is the last loan or debt. $33,902.43 was the starting balance. $939.23 is our minimum payment. We didn't make any extra payment. We didn't make any purchases. We lost $166.28 to interest, and we are ending at $33,129.48. Now, this loan is at a low interest, 6.19%. Now, even though there was about 30 days in between payments for this loan, we still did not lose as much interest as we did with the upgrade loan, even though the upgrade loan is a higher interest rate. Auto loan is a higher balance, but the interest rate is what's killing us. But anyway, like I said, we are working on it and we won't have that many days in between payments anymore. So let's just wrap this up and talk about our ending numbers. So in the month of November, we started out with a total debt amount of $104,117.31. All our minimum payments totaled to $3,708.91. Extra payment was $1,102.93. Purchases total $3,351.64. Interest. Oof. Interest, you guys, $1,266.95. So we have gone back up in interest in the month of November, but we're paying attention. So we're ending the month, and this I was not pleased to see because you guys know my goal for the month, or I should say my goal for the end of 2024 was to be under six-figure debt. And with this number that I'm looking at right here, $103,924.06, this is a hard number to clear. For us to clear $3,924.06 to get under six-figure debt is going to be very tough in the month of December. I'm not losing hope, however. I'm going to see what I can do. And if we can't do it, that was a hefty goal. If we can't do it, we'll just work on it in the month of January. So we're just going to sum up what has happened so far since we've been on this debt journey. So our debt progress, we started out this whole debt-free journey the 10th of October in 2023. Our balance at that time was $123,217.48. Like I mentioned, last month's total was $104,117.31. This month's total, $103,924.06. So total paid this month in principal payment, that's what it works out to be, is $193.25. That is just 0.19% paid in the month of November. Now, it's still a move in the right direction because we have reduced the debt, but it's not by a lot. So our overall debt reduction since we've started, $19,293.42, and that's a percentage of 15.66% of our debt paid. So we didn't make a big step in the month of November, but we made a step nonetheless. So I'm going to celebrate that small win that we had because we actually did come under $104,000. All right, so we're just going to go down and I'm going to show you guys the interest because this is my reality check. In the month of October, we were down in interest, you guys. we were down to $980.69. But because of the timing of all our loan payments, we went back up to $1,266.95. So the last time I was here, I didn't tell you guys the total amount of interest that we've lost so far in 2024, $14,003.85. Now, by God, I'm telling you, we're not going to do this in 2025. We're not going to do it at all. I'm going to jump over to this spreadsheet that I've been tracking my debts on for 2024. As you can see, we went up. That's why these numbers are in red. We went up in 3 credit cards. 3 of them increased instead of decreased. So our total credit cards in the end of October was $6,513.42, and we went up to $8,600.01. Now we're going to figure this out. We're going to come back down with this credit card total amount in the month of December. Just stick around to see that. But our loans, everything down on the bottom here is our loans, which is auto loan, student loan, 401k loan, and our personal loan. We went from $97,603.88, and we went down to $95,324.05. Now, that is a decrease of just about $2,000 and some change. So, this was a good move in the month of November. I'm pretty proud of this. What I'm not happy about, and I just mentioned that, was Upgrade. Upgrade was the one that kind of cheated us a little bit because we didn't even make $200 payment towards the principal. It was just about 100 and maybe $50, just about, that was made towards the principal. But like I said, I am paying attention. I have plans for the month of December. I have plans for 2025. And we're going to work this out, you guys. We're going to work it out. So stick with me to see the process. Stick with me to follow along with the journey. We're coming from afar, you guys. We're coming from afar. So I do have a video plan that will come out at the end of the month of December, just to give you guys an overview of where we started in 2024 to where we are at the end of December in 2024, because I want to show you guys that even though on a monthly basis it doesn't look like we're making progress, when I look at it overall, progress was made in 2024. And I'm happy to say that, because past Melissa, and maybe that's something I'll show you guys too, just to show you where we're coming from. Because if you look at the bottom of this spreadsheet here, you can see that we have, starting from 2019, that's when I first started making this consumer debt spreadsheet. And my mindset back then was horrendous. When it came down to money, it was horrendous. So I want to show you guys where we were in 2023 and what we did, maybe even 2022. Maybe that's a video. So let me know if you're interested in seeing what we used to do with money when it came down to consumer debt, just to see where we are right now, to see that we are making progress. So you guys, let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing those numbers. But this is what it is for the month of November. We didn't make much progress. Just about $193.24 was paid in principal payments. Now, we're not going to sweat it. We're just regrouping right now, and we're going to do better. So thank you so much for clicking on and watching this video. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe if you want to see how we're going to do in 2025. I want you to come back and see the progress, because I'm claiming it now. We're going to do it. So you guys, until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye now.